Alright, so hello everybody. I am going to do a small video on weight painting. It's going to be very simple, very straightforward, using the basic tools. After this video gets done, you're going to walk away knowing that you can start your projects and have the confidence to go a little bit further. So then I'm going to do another video, maybe one, maybe two. I want to keep them short and sweet so that you don't get bored and you don't feel intimidated, on the other hand, by too much information coming at once. So just hold on and we're going to take it step by step. This is the dress, of course, that we've been working with. I'm going to turn the solid view back on. I'm going to come to the bones and I'm going to put them in pose mode. I'm going to select the dress and I'm going to put that into weight paint mode. There we go. When we're in weight paint mode, we can come over here to the object data window panel. And in here in the vertex groups, you'll see the bones that we have. Right now, we're going to go ahead and click on the left upper leg. And it shows you the weights that have been transferred to the dress from the mannequin. And Bento Buddy does a really good job at this. You saw these when I brought them in World. This and the pantsuit, both of them moved really, really well right out of the box. But dresses are a little tricky because you have this fabric and it moves forward with this leg, which is great. It moves with it. But in realisticness, the dress doesn't stop moving at the front. Something that we want to achieve, let me go to the side view. We rotate this. Something that we want to achieve is not to have this big, long, straight seam here. You see how this dress curves out around the thighs? Well, when it gets back over here to maybe just past mid-thigh in the front, we want this to start scooping around, making another bend. So it's almost like, just like a curvy roller coaster. This straight line should not be there. So why is that straight line there? That is simply because, let me go back here again, because we have such a straight definition here. I don't mean straight, we got straight edges, but I mean like there is such a well-defined gradient between the colors. When you look at this, you can see where red ends and orange starts. You can see where orange ends and yellow starts, and all the way down where blue is here and light blue is there. It's well defined. What gives fabric a nice curve is when it's not well defined, when you have a very nice rainbow gradient effect. So that's what we're going to work on today. We're just going to work on getting our rainbows started. The best way to do this is to come into the tool panel, actually not the tool panel, the properties panel, and opening up the tool tab. In the tool tab, we're going to have our blender weight painting tools. If you press the T for the T panel, or rather the tool panel, you'll see we have a few different brushing styles here. So right now by default the draw brush is on there. We want to go with blur. If it has never been true for anything else that you've ever heard it being true for, it's true now. Less is more. We want to work in very small increments. Honestly, this can get carried away. You can go crazy with this, thinking just a little bit more, and you ended up doing way too much. So my advice to you before you even begin is remember, less is more. Put a Post-it pad on your screen if you need to, a sticky note, just to keep reminding you of that. So I'm going to close the T panel there. I'm going to work with the blur brush like I said, and I'm going to take a look at my brush radius. Right now it says 35 pixels and that looks rather small. If I come closer, of course, it's even smaller. It covers less of a space. If I pull out, it starts to cover the whole thing. We want to work at a range this away from us at a nice distance where we can see a good portion of the fabric, but we don't want our brush to be too big or too small. So I'm going to bring this up maybe to about 100 pixels, I believe would be good. Yeah, that's good. And the strength of my brush. I want to bring my strength down just a little bit because I don't want this working too fast. I want to take my time to blur what I'm going to be blurring. Let me show you one more thing. Down here we have vertex select and we have face select. Neither one of them are on right now, but we are going to click on vertex select for a moment. With vertex select on, if we were to choose some of these vertices, we could paint them. You cannot paint on a vertex that is not selected when you have vertex mode on. Okay, so I'm not going to ruin anything by messing around here. The blur tool works by blurring any vertices that are within the area. So right now, if I were to click on blur here, absolutely nothing would blur because they're all already the same shade of red. If I were to come up here, this yellow, this orange, and this red would all begin to blur together to make one color. If I were to move my brush out a little bit, I have a little more yellow, I still have red, mostly orange, it would all blur together. The reason I'm trying to explain this in this manner is because when we begin to blur, you're going to think, wait, that's backwards. But it all comes with the knowledge that the blur brush blurs only what's within the circle size as it passes over it. So let me go ahead and take the vertex select mode off. I'm going to up this scale all the way to 1 for now. And I'm going to cam in a little bit closer to show you. So as I bring my brush from the solid blue down to the solid red, colors are going to bleed, blur, and move over. And they're going to move in the opposite direction that the brush is coming. And that's because as I come this way, I am now encompassing these light blue vertices and the dark blue, and they're all going to start mixing together. You see that? When I come closer to the red and the yellow and such, all of those now get put into the mix. As I come closer, more of them come in. So as I brush this way, the colors are actually moving in this direction, but only within the brush space. So seeing that might have helped a little bit, but watching it happen might help even more. So let me take this down. I'm going to come back a little bit. And now I'm going to go from solid blue to solid red because I want a nice smooth gradient. You'll also see as I blur, this crease here, this where these come together, the gradient lines are, they'll start to smooth out as well. You can see how jagged that is. So in the light blue down to the red. And I'm just blurring it, which means I am pulling colors into my circle as I go along. Now sometimes you won't hit the full red or the full blue. You may accidentally start here and go, that's all right, that's not a big deal. But overall, you want to make sure that you go from one solid color to the next here, in this case anyways. What we're trying to achieve in this process is to get this rainbow gradient to go down to about 1/3 of her thigh. If we have it curving around the front of the leg and then curving back and forward again, it's going to be perfect. So let's just go ahead and do this. One thing I don't want you to do is I want you to keep this out of your drawing site right now, kind of like I have it. If we start messing around up here, what's going to happen is that this is also going to move with the thigh, and that's just not realistic. We don't want that moving at all. So we're just going to come in here, and we're going to keep on working this. Maybe I will bring my strength up just a little bit. You're going to work with your strength constantly and your brush size constantly, depending on what you're doing, depending on the amount of space that you have to work, you may not have all of this room and all of this room to make these big long strokes. So you're going to want to work with a smaller brush. You might want to adjust your size. And do you see how this is already, sorry, fixing itself? Sorry, I had to clear my throat there. And let's see, we're getting there. I'm probably going to go with a little bit more strength. Again, I do not want to do this too fast. I don't want to do too much. But I don't want to take forever and bore the craziness out of you. So let me just go ahead and move this a little, just so we have a little bit of a smoothness between the upper thigh area here and the inner thigh. Let's get this moved over a little bit more. And it's doing pretty good. What you really can't tell right now until you actually move the cloth is that the weights are over here already. A good gradient, again, is you cannot tell where one color starts and the other one ends, or where one ends and the other starts. That is the whole point of a really good gradient. That's how super smooth you want it. In this place anyways, remember when I talk about doing certain things, some things are general and some things are specific to that area. So in this case, when it comes to a dress moving, we do not want to talk about the dress moving as if it were included for pants, because for like pants, you would not want this coming over this far at all. That's where you want to have that solid line sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and that little dip in there is actually pretty good to have for the dress right now. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm going to, yeah, you can see it's just not nearly over far enough at all. But again, I don't want to bore you, so let me go ahead and click on the bone. I have to go back into object mode. We go back into weight paint on this. And then let's go ahead and rotate that. Alright, so it's a little hard to see, but remember we had that big straight line going all the way back here? There was no curve coming up into the other leg, so we are starting to get there. To kind of analyze where you're at right now, is this edge here, this in the mesh, this is moving too much with the dress. So we want to relax that a little bit, which means we still want to spread that gradient out. The orange can probably start to step in here a little bit more as well, making this not move quite as much, only so that we can get that rounded curve going on. So if you want to kind of get a better idea at how your weight painting should go or is going, come down into the face select mode. Again, in face select mode, much like vertex, you cannot paint on this unless it's actually selected, so you're not going to ruin anything right now. But do you see these long straight faces? Those are really stretched out, whereas these ones are not. We're trying to achieve getting these ones all to be pretty much even. So we're going to weight paint to get these faces to go down. Weights are only held in the vertices. A face does not hold weight information, and an edge does not hold information. Only the vertices. Don't let that confuse you just because the dress is actually colored. Let me turn on vertex select mode again. Alright, so this vertice, let's just say this vertice right here, is a, I'll bring my brush down so I can really pinpoint it for you. Okay, so this vertex holds about 50% weight, which means it's green. The vertex down here, let's say that holds, I don't know, 65% weight, or not 50, maybe like 35% weight. So the gradient color comes from averaging out the two vertices that are connected. So if you were to take these four vertex, the two up here and two down there, the color green is actually an average between all four of these. So this is letting you know that the um, this face that's right here, it's letting you know what color all these four weights average out to. So red is like 100, is one, the weight of one. And orange is maybe a weight of 70, 75. So in here, you have an average of the weights. I know that sounds really confusing. I will try to find a way to make it a little bit easier to understand. Hopefully, actually, somebody gets it though. So, yeah, so you can go into face select. You can see here what needs to be done. Because if you're looking at it just straight on like this, you're like, what needs to be done? I'm not sure if I should make this heavier in weight or lighter in weight. You can come here, you can see this is all stretched out really bad. And this is looking good, so you really don't want to change that. You don't want to move these edges upward. You want to move these downward to even it all out. So you know that this needs to have a little bit less weight in it. This needs to have a little less weight. This one as well have less weight. And you'll see that curve start to come in. And you will see that your mesh grid here is a lot more even. Okay, so that is it for this first weight painting video. Like I said, I wanted to keep it nice, short, and sweet, and to the point. Please like, subscribe, and share. And don't be afraid to reach out if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.